Okay, here we go. Back to Kamakura. See if we can talk to this old lady. Where was it? Over here? Aha. You! I told you to stay away from my family. Don't drag my grandchildren into this any more than you already have. Stay back. I have questions about Kamakai, the group your daughter and son-in-law were part of. You're the only one alive who will remember. Kamakai? I don't know anything about it. Leave me. Grandma, enough. Listen to yourself. Do you even realize you're lying anymore? Takashi told us everything. And you, Ito? Just because this investigation is important to you doesn't give you the right to barge in here. May, your grandma and I need to talk. If it upsets you, maybe you should go. No, I'm not going anywhere. This is the house I grew up in. It's as much mine as it is Grandma's. If you have something to say, you can say it in front of me. Only a little while ago, I found out my parents died in some cult, and no one even knows why. You think hearing that was easy for me? I want to help you, Ido, but all the deceit and lies are starting to hurt people. What I'm chasing is so much worse. Tell that to the poor man in the station. He's in the hospital, now terrified, out of his wits. People aren't only here to be used for information and then thrown away like you move on. They have lives too. And bringing up the past can hurt. Surely you, of all people, understand that. I do, but ignoring the past won't make it go away. And there's unfinished business from the Komikai that needs to be taken care of. But what's left to talk about? Everyone's dead, right? May, I promise to talk to you about all this later. For now, let me and the detective talk. Go on. You were cooking us dinner, weren't you? Alright. We'll talk about it later, but I'll be in the other room if you need me. So you found me out. Now that May knows, I suppose there's no point in keeping it a secret any longer. The truth is, my daughter never would have joined the Komikai if it weren't for me. I convinced her and her husband to join. At the time I joined, my husband had left me, and I lost my job, suddenly leaving me a single, unemployed mother who could barely support her daughter. That's when Torquemada found me and told me that society that stigmatized and shunned me was a fiction. A great machine to be fought, that my very soul was at stake. Of course, he used me as he did everyone else. I desperately wanted to hear that my struggles weren't my fault. They stole everything from me, my youth, my mind, and then my child. And then one day in 1996 they all died. The cause of death was buried, and no autopsies was performed. Or if they were hidden. Why? That's simple. The government didn't care about some dead cultists in the woods and covered it up, so the papers wouldn't sensationalize their deaths. That's it? After everything I found, you expect me to believe that? 12 people died that day, and no one knows why. What happened? Tell me the truth. You want to know what happened so badly? Fine, I'll tell you. They died for nothing, following the footsteps of a madman who believed that life was an illusion. As words of other compounds and other groups being raided spread, Torquemada began warning us that the end was near. He believed the world was collapsing and it was time for him and his followers to abandon the flesh and find purity among the gods. My Emiko, she didn't die from some conspiracy. She chose death because she no longer had an anchor to reality, and it was my fault. Beyond that, I don't know what happened to them. No, you do know something. In the reports it says after the officers cleared the bodies, they found the mask, the same one you handed to me 6 months ago. That's... Tokimasa would always keep it to himself, seeing it grant him sight into the realm of Kami. I needed it. You don't understand. It allowed us to see strange things and people who were gone. The guru was a fool, a fake, but the mask was real. There was a rumor that the cult members were killed by one of their own. Surely you didn't. No, you don't understand. I would never kill my own child. I didn't take the mask, it was given to me. One day a man, some journalist or other, showed up at my door carrying the mask. I couldn't believe it. I begged him for it, and he stood there smiling at me. His eyes were like none I have ever seen. It was strange. All he wanted in exchange for the mask was a picture of Emiko. When I joined the cult, I was forced to give up my possessions and only had one left, but I gave it to him nevertheless. I thought I had a mask that I could find her. If I had the mask I could find her, that maybe she would forgive me. As soon as I had in my hands, my mind opened. I could hear her voice. So you went into sewers chasing after her, thinking you could save her? Takashi told you that as well, did he? Yes, it's true. Emiko was crying out to me, begging me to find her and free her from the dark place. I would have given anything to hold her in my arms again and plead her forgiveness. I don't care if you don't believe me. Just like Tanaka was calling out to me. I do believe you. You are probably some of the few people left alive who know what this mask is capable of. If you really thought it'd help you find her, then why'd you give it to me? Because I was wrong. At first I only followed whispers, then I found myself in a strange labyrinth chasing after a shade. The days bled together. I lost track of my grandchildren, of the shrine. It was an illusion. No matter how hard I tried, I never found her. I only became more and more disconnected from the world around me. I descended into madness. I was being used again, just like Tokimasa had used me so many years before. I tried getting rid of it, throwing it away, burning it. None of it mattered. It always came back. And when it did, the vicious and whispers only got worse. So I put it out of my mind and tried as best as I could to live a life of solitude and ignore the screams of my daughter. Then you came, and when you did, the mask was screaming out in voices I had never heard before, and I thought it was a sign, so I gave it to you. I didn't even have the time to breathe out a sigh of relief before I heard a gunshot ring out. No one else ran to it. I think it was the only one. I was the only one who knew that sound for what it was. I thought the mask was punishing me once again by taking my or me away from me. I don't know if it's me or my. It means my. Instead, it had passed tragedy to another. I'm sorry. Perhaps the knowledge of the mask should die with us. There is one other person who knows about the mask, a girl named Irina. Does that name mean anything to you? No, I don't know anybody by that name. You accept me to know everyone who's been touched by the mask? No, but you were involved with a group that worshipped it. Are you sure you're telling me everything? Yes. What god will accusing an old woman do? Unless you're chasing someone too. That must be it. Mike told me you lost someone, your partner in the police. Is that right? If I'm right, then I suggest you stop your search. The police I was shown by the mask was not meant for the living. I barely escaped with my life. Stop while your mind and body remained intact. What if I told you there was another option? What other option? In the months since I first met you, I've had time to examine the ancient text in the shrine. As the mask grew further away, it loosened its grip on my mind. I knew then it would someday make its way back to me, and so I became determined to find a way to protect myself and my grandchildren from its influence. The darkness of the Kamakai and its ritual objects are but manipulations used to sever our connections with what is truly divine. The mask breeds darkness. Dark forces can invade all manner of living and non-living things, driving them to violence or death. That which is evil cannot be used or tolerated. It must be destroyed. It is the only way to save us from its grip. Destroy the mask? I thought you said it couldn't be done. Not physically. Grandma, is everything alright? I overheard you talking about that mask again. Yes, dear. But you needn't worry. In fact, it's good you're here, as this talk involves you. You trained in exorcism and purification rituals for quite some time, haven't you? Such a ritual could purify the mask and turn it into a mere piece of wood. Given we gather the right materials, of course. We gather the right materials. I can call from the look in your eye that you think me to be senile, but I'm quite serious. Even modern rituals have ancient roots, and with enough convictions, they are still capable of great power. Before, I was content to die as long as the mask didn't hurt my children, as I was too feeble to do what was necessary myself. But now, seeing you here, I see a second chance to do what is right. If you truly do know what the mask is, then you must help me destroy it. Slow down, I didn't come here to be involved in any ritual or exorcism or whatever you call it. I only want the truth about the Kamakai, which you still haven't given me. You're a stubborn one, aren't you? So be it. I can see there is only one way to change your mind. The only trace of what happened that day would be at the Kamakai compound itself. The records of its locations are lost. They were never made public. But I know where it is. What's the catch? Go there, search for your truth, see what worshipping the mask has wrought. When you return, you'll help me destroy it. What makes you so confident I'll change my mind? I went back once, years ago. In all honesty, I'm not sure why. Perhaps to remind myself of my sins. When I saw and felt in that place, I was tainted by darkness and death. Those two things are all the mask will afford you. There's something else. I had a feeling you'd say that. The heavy, unnatural air I felt when I returned to compound, it had the same stench, the same quality of the tunnels where I searched for Emiko. Sounds like superstition to me. So, what exactly is it you want in exchange for the information? I believe the energies of the mask in that place are linked. I want you to bring something back from there, anything. It may help in the ritual. Looking for the truth will not bring you peace, detective. Purifying the mask very well might. Remember that. The compound is in the forest of Aokigahara. Aokigahara? Gahara. Aokigahara. Hey, that's the Suicide Forest. Suicide Forest. What a dreadful name. Do I suppose those woods have seen their fair share of tragedy and death? Ito, you can't just go charging in there. It's dangerous. What if you get lost? The GPS doesn't work in there. and I heard even compasses won't point north. Not only that, but, well, a lot of people go there to die. I don't think you should go. You two keep talking about that mask like it's some evil spirit causing you pain, but I think the pain you're feeling isn't caused by a mask, it's just you. So many nights after the girl died in the shrine, I had nightmares. Every corner I went around, I thought I'd see her there. It wasn't a ritual or a charm that made me better though. I just stopped listening to the fear. I confronted it. And you took me to see Tagashi. That was the first time I'd left Kamakura since April. It's embarrassing to admit it, but I was scared. Yeah, Takashi telling me all that stuff about mom and dad was scary, but it was the truth. I wasn't hiding from some demon. I invented myself. Anyway, I know you might not listen to me, but I don't think you should put yourself in danger just so you could keep chasing your demons. Maybe you're right, but some demons have a way of spreading to others. Seeing the Kamakai compound is something I have to do. Well, it's your choice, but Okigahara is huge. How are you going to find one compound? Makes a good point. It's been a long time. Are you sure you remember where it is? Of course I do. I know what you two must think of me, but I'm not senile. It's a hike away from a bus stop, on the outskirts of Narasawa. We used to go into town occasionally for supplies. Several miles away from the bus stop, there's a clearing and a pad there, used time to time by the Forest Service. I'll draw you a map before you leave. It continues for quite some time, and eventually it will be blocked off. Keep going forward and don't turn back or leave the path. The forest can play tricks on you. Supposing the path is still there, it seems pretty incredible to me that the compound would have been left alone all these years. It still stands, after all. Why would you bother to go and dismantle it? Go. Search for whatever truth you think you'll find, but be careful, detective. Do what must be done, then leave. Staying there is dangerous. I hope that once you enter the place and feel the energy I did, you have the sense to see what I never could. You understand, don't you? The mask must be purified. I understand. Good. I'll begin preparations for the ceremony, regardless. May. See her out. Wow. She never said anything like that to me. You must have really scared her. Listen, I'll help you with this ritual because I think it'll help Grandma get better. But don't get yourself killed. I know in your eyes I'm probably just a kid, but I know how much it hurts to want the truth. Takashi obsessed over the past. I know it's miserable, not knowing. Grandma almost went insane on top of that. Grandma said it herself, you're still young. You should forget all about all this and start over. You might not want to hear this, but listening to you two talk about masks and spirits, well, you sound like that girl at the shrine. It scares me, and it should scare you too. Take care of yourself, Ito. Okay, I guess we're gonna go to we're gonna leave Kamakura and then we're gonna go to Okigahara. So that's gonna be the suicide forest. So that's gonna be the next one. Here we go.